Have you ever had someone stay in your mind even when there is no call, no text, no interaction at all? Days go by, weeks even, yet somehow she's still there. You wake up and her face flashes in your mind. You hear a song and it reminds you of her. You pass a restaurant and suddenly a memory of her comes rushing back. It's almost like she's living inside your head rent free. If you've ever experienced this, you've probably asked yourself, why is she always on my mind when we were not even talking? Is it love? Is it obsession? Is it a sign she's the one? Or is it something deeper, something psychological that you don't fully understand yet? Now, by the end of this video, you won't just to know why she's constantly on your mind, but you will also understand what to do about it, whether it's to go deep in the connection, free yourself from emotional chaos, or finally get the clarity you've been craving. This isn't about random theories or recycled dating tips. We are diving deep into real human psychology, attachment patterns, and emotional triggers. So grab your seat because one's going to hit you very hard. Now, number one, the mystery of unspoken bonds. Let's start with a truth most people don't realize. You don't need constant communication to be emotionally connected to someone. Sometimes silence is louder than words. When a woman stays in your mind despite zero interaction, it usually means she left a deep emotional imprint on you. It's like when you smell a certain perfume and suddenly remember a moment from years ago. That's your brain saying this person mattered. Here's why this happens. Your brain doesn't separate reality from memory. If you shared strong moments with her, laughter, vulnerability, even conflict, your brain replaces those like they are happening now. Emotion acts like glue. The more intense the emotion you felt around her, whether good or bad, the stronger she's wired into your thoughts. Unfinished stories stick. If things ended suddenly or without closure, your mind keeps looping back, trying to complete the story. This is why you can't just stop thinking about her. It's not weakness, it's biology. But here's the problem. Just because she's on your mind doesn't mean she's right for you. We will get to that later. Number two, the three hidden reasons she's stuck in your mind. I want to give you three reasons she's stuck in your mind. When a woman lives in your thoughts without communication, it usually comes down to one of three core reasons. Now let's break them down. Number one reason is emotional imprint. That is the scar theory. Imagine cutting your hand. Even after it heals, there's a scar. That scar is proof that something happened, proof that you were impacted. Emotions work the same way. When you have deeply emotional experiences with someone, whether love, heartbreak, or intense attraction, they leave a psychological scar. Even when she's gone, that scar keeps triggering more memories and then feelings. This is why you might randomly think of her while driving or even in the middle of work. It's not because you're weak, it's because your nervous system remembers. The second reason is unfinished business. Humans are wired to crave closure. If your connection ended abruptly, without answers or proper resolution, your mind becomes like a computer stuck in a loading loop. You replay conversations, imagine what if scenarios, and overanalyze the past because your brain is desperately trying to make sense of it. That mental loop keeps her alive in your thoughts, not because she's your soulmate, but because your story with her feels incomplete. Now, the third reason is idealization versus reality. Here's a hard truth. Sometimes it's not her you are thinking about, it's the version of her you've created in your mind. Where there is no communication, it's easy to fill in the blanks with fantasy. You remember her best moments, her smile, her warmth, and you forget her flaws, her mistakes, the parts that weren't so perfect. Your brain isn't obsessing over reality. It's obsessing over an idealized image. This can be more addictive than the real person ever was. Now, the next thing you have to know, what if doesn't mean. Here is where most men go wrong. They assume that if they can't stop thinking about her, it means she's the one. She is secretly thinking of them too. Yeah, fate is trying to bring them back. These are the thoughts some men get. But none of these are guaranteed truths. Just because she's constantly on your mind doesn't mean you are destined to be together. It simply means your brain has attached meaning to her presence. In other words, your thoughts reflect your emotional state, not necessarily her feelings or intentions. Think about it like a song stuck in your head. The song isn't playing on the radio. The artist isn't thinking about you, but your mind keeps replaying it because it's made an impact at some point. That same goes for her. Now, the next thing I would like you to know the deeper psychology, why this feels so intense. Now, let's go deeper. Why does this feel so consuming? Why can one woman occupy so much mental space? It boils down to attachment styles and emotional triggers. Now, let's go with attachment style first. If you tend to have an anxious attachment style, you crave closeness. When someone you care about goes silent, your brain perceives it as a threat, almost like danger. So you overthink, replay memories, and hyper focus on that person. It's not love. It's your nervous system trying to calm itself. Then the emotional trigger, sometimes she represents more than just herself. Maybe she triggered childhood memories of not feeling seen or chosen. Maybe she awakened parts of you you've been neglecting. Maybe she symbolized freedom, excitement, or a version of yourself you want to return to. This is why she feels unforgettable, because she's tied to something much bigger than just romance. Now, the next thing I would like you to know is what you should do about it. All right, now we know why she's in your mind, but what do you actually do about it? Here's the expert framework I recommend. Step 1, separate fact from fantasy. Write down what you know about her versus what you've been imagining. Ask yourself, am I thinking about the real her or an idealized version? What were her flaws that I have been ignoring? Am I remembering moments or creating stories? This will help you see clearly and stop feeding the fantasy loop. Step 2 is identify the trigger. Ask yourself, what deeper need is this obsession pointing to? Do you crave closure? Are you missing her or missing how she made you feel about herself? Is this about her or about an unresolved wound in your past? When you identify the real trigger, you gain power over it. Third step, create space for healing. If she's constantly in your mind, chances are you are feeding the obsession with little habits like checking her social media, replaying old texts, driving past places you used to go together. You have to cut off the reinforcement loop. That doesn't mean hating her. It means giving your brain the silence it needs to reset. Step 4, build a bigger life. The best way to stop fixating on one person is to expand your world. Dive into hobbies and passions you've been neglecting. Strengthen friendships and family bonds. Set new personal and professional goals. When your life gets bigger, her presence in your mind naturally gets smaller. Step 5, decide your next move consciously. Once you have gained clarity, you decide, do you want to reach out? Do you want to move on completely? Or do you simply want to understand and let go? The key is making the decision from a place of calm, not emotional chaos. Now, the next thing I want you to know is when it's actually love. You keep thinking about her. I want to know when it's actually. Let's be honest, sometimes she's always in your mind because it is love, not fantasy, not trauma, but genuine connection. Now, how do you know the difference? Here's the test. Love feels peaceful, even in her absence. Obsession feels anxious and chaotic. Love inspires you to grow. Obsession keeps you stuck. Love respects boundaries and timing. Obsession wants control. If your thoughts about her bring calm, inspiration, and clarity, it may be real love worth pursuing. But if they bring panic, desperation, and confusion, it's not love, it's an attachment wound. Your mind is trying to tell you something. If she's always on your mind without communication, don't chase her or try to silence the thoughts. Instead, Listen to what your mind and heart are really saying. Sometimes she's a mirror reflecting your deepest desires, fears, or unresolved pain. Sometimes she's a catalyst for your greatest growth. And sometimes she's just a beautiful chapter in your story, meant to be cherished but not repeated. The point is, don't let her presence in your mind control you. Understand it, learn from it, and then make conscious choices about what comes next. If this hits home for you, let me know in the comments. What's one realization you had while watching this? And if you want more deep insights into relationships, love, and personal growth, make sure you subscribe and turn on notification. If you've subscribed, I want to say a very big thank you. And then give this video a thumbs up, because understanding your mind is the first step to mastering your heart.